The following content is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. You're listening to the Everyday Therapy Podcast. I'm JC Rader.
And I'm Julianne Schroeder.
And we're therapists bringing you honest conversations around emotional wellness and self-development.
Inspired by our personal experiences in therapy and because of our clients, we realize therapy has so much to offer both on and off the couch. Listen for tips and tools to navigate all the challenges that life throws your way.
To give us feedback on topics and guests, or for more information on our community events, counseling, or online services, contact us at everydaytherapypodcast.com. Hello and welcome. So let's get right into our supporters. So Lifeology Institute is a group private practice here in the heart of Dallas. So they are a counseling agency and they are amazing. They have offices all over Dallas as well as out of state. And they offer affordable counseling at early morning appointments, late evenings, and weekends. So if you've ever wanted to develop yourself some personal growth, or have anxiety, depression, anything going on mental health wise, they can support you in that. And today we're featuring one of the counselors there. So Katie Hermes, she is a counselor that specializes in, I love this, adulting.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I might need to see her.
Yes. Yeah. No. And she is a colleague of ours. Anxiety disorders, codependency, divorce, the Enneagram, which we've talked a lot on here. She even has an Enneagram group, female sexuality, and all things relationships. So she does premarital counseling, engagement counseling, marital counseling, last ditch marital counseling. So all the marital counselings on all ends. So she is amazing. We're in a book club together. I love her. Yes. So please check her out if you have any questions about her. And she's at wefixbrains.com as well as a load of other counselors there. And their motto is creative solutions to stuck problems.
Yes, and in helping create healthy balance in the mind and body, they have the Lifeology Institute for Psychotherapeutic Yoga, LISB School for short. And so we are excited today to announce that they are offering $150 off the next training cycle for therapists as well as those that have a background in yoga, who are looking to affect change by bringing the Eastern and Western approach to healing with psychotherapeutic yoga. Yes. And also want to let you know too that they offer CEUs or continuing education courses, and they have one at the end of the month here, July 28th. So what you can expect is a basic overview of what psychotherapeutic yoga is.
It's a mouthful. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for validating. As well as some tangible skills to use with clients or students in the yoga room, or if you're just looking for some personal understanding as to how yoga is beneficial for mental health.
Yes. Yeah. Check them out. We're both graduates there. Julianne teaches there. So, but let's get right into talking to our guest today.
Yes.
So we have Kim Ludeman.
And
hello.
Hi, guys.
Hi. How are you?
So good. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. It's been a long time coming. And so tell us, so you're big on confidence. So captivating confidence. So tell us a little bit, what does that mean?
Oh, man. So confidence, is that feeling of being self-assured and knowing who you are and what makes you unique and special. And so being captivatingly confident is all about living in that and walking in that and choosing to be that every day.
Sounds like really owning it.
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
that. Okay, so how did you get into this work? Tell us your background. Tell us how you got here.
Yeah, it's a really interesting story. So I don't even know where to start. Sometimes I'm like, do I go all the way to the beginning
Yes,
or
yes, you can go all the way to the beginning if you want. We have plenty of
hey,
time. Yeah.
this is why I
Yeah.
love therapists,
Yes.
right? Like, let's just start back at childhood.
Right.
When were you born? No.
Also, what was your mom's environment at the time during your pregnancy? What was that like? Just kidding. We don't have to go that far.
So I grew up in California and I'm an only child. And my parents didn't really know what to do with me as a kid. And I was very passionate and excited and just really a lot for them to handle. And so a lot of times they would try to make me smaller or quieter or less vibrant. And I was told often that I was too much. And yeah, it's awful. Don't do that to your kids. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
Well, and I think so many people can relate to that with like big personalities. I know I can, like being more talkative person.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. And just having lots of thoughts and opinions and feelings and doing that out loud. They
Yeah.
just didn't know what to do. So that was really challenging. I also grew up watching my mom really hide her body and hide herself behind just really baggy clothes, always putting other people first to a fault, and just really always doing dieting. So I grew up on a lot of diet foods, but also a lot of junk food. There was a real imbalance in my household. But of course it was my mom and she was my first friend and my best friend and I just looked up to her so much. And when she was 42, she got diagnosed with uterine and ovarian cancer. And it was stage 4 by the time that they found it because she would never go to the doctor. She didn't do self-care at all. And that was really a really hard thing to go through. And so she basically had about a year and a half of fighting that before she lost that battle. And before she passed, one of the things that she said to me was, you have to figure out what health looks like for you. You have to be healthy because you cannot die like this. And at 19, I was just like, okay, we've never talked about health as a family. We've never talked about exercise. I don't know. I was 19. I didn't know anything. So it was a process of figuring out what does healthy mean? What does it look like? And how can I embody that with not only my food and my exercise, but also my mental health? And that led me to working with a therapist and in starting to exercise. And I found that I was really strong. And I was like, okay, if a couch potato like me can get fit, then anybody can. So I started doing personal training and nutrition coaching. And it really led me to see that it's not even really about what you eat or how you move. It's all about how you think about those things, right? I'm sure you guys, yeah, both of you are nodding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I think there's so much fear on like doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I can imagine being like you're at 19 and witnessing, such a traumatic event as your mom leaving you, and those are the last, her messages to you. Then you're going to want to do the right thing, and there's so much in our culture about doing the right thing, but it can be so intimidating, right?
It can be, yes, especially because now, 15 years later, we have Google
Yeah.
and we have Instagram and we have all of this health information right at our fingertips. But then it's a whole new breed of problems because instead of just like Weight Watchers or Atkins, which were the two diets of like the 80s and 90s, now we have a whole host of different types of diets and ways that you can get healthy. And it's overwhelming. And then it's this process of, well, how do I live a life that I enjoy when I have to restrict all the time? And I have to lose weight to be healthy and I have to exercise to be healthy. And I'm all stressed out about that. So it leads to a lot of confusion.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that so many can relate to being ingrained in that culture.
Information overload, right? And when there is a lot of emphasis put on physical health, right, and maybe not so much into the mental health. And so it seems like that's something that you're trying to bring into the work that you do. And I'm wondering, is that based on, I guess, like your own experience as well of needing to address that?
Yeah, it is, but it's also in seeing
Yeah.
over the last decade, because that's how
Yeah.
long I've been doing the personal training and nutrition work, is seeing just a real need for confidence and confidence in decision making, confidence in who you are as a person, confidence in your ability as a parent, confidence in everything, and it affects everything. And I actually took a 2-year hiatus from doing work in the gym and moved into the online coaching space. But I also started doing LuLaRoe, which is a clothing company that you can do from your home, and found tremendous success with that. And I got to have so many different conversations with different types of women in that 2-year span that really showed me how much confidence on the outside and confidence on the inside are two very different things. But yet they work together to create this captivating confidence, which can give you so much freedom and joy when you practice things like self-acceptance, body acceptance, and even accepting what has happened to you in your past and how can you heal from that and move forward so it doesn't trigger you so much and you get stuck.
Yeah, that's deep work. That's good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Right.
can you describe like what did it look like when you didn't have confidence to like what does it look like now that you do have confidence? I'm curious, like what are the big differences or small differences that you notice in your thoughts, behaviors?
That is a great question. Yeah, it was definitely being really dependent on other people to tell me what to do, whether it was people to tell me what to believe, like in church, like not being able to think for myself, even, or be able to voice objection to something that I wasn't really sure about, or with food, being really reliant on somebody telling me what to eat or having a diet plan, with exercise, like needing somebody to tell me what to do and not having the confidence to even try something on my own or try something new. And even in conversations with friends, just being very much in a place of I'm too much. And if I step into who I really am, they're not going to be here. They're going to not like me. They're going to think I'm a fraud. They're going to think whatever they're going to think. And that fear of just living each day just needing so much, but yet not being able to ask for what I really needed, created just a lot of internal drama all the time. And so now, having done a ton of work to really figure out what confidence looks like for me, stepping into that looks like I can pursue my dreams and I can listen to my body and eat in a way that feels really good to me. I can listen to my body and what it needs, and I can move accordingly. I can not worry about filtering myself in my relationships and in my leadership roles. I can show up authentically and vulnerably and not have to worry that people are going to judge me or that they're going to, disown me or whatever. And just being able to practice really good boundaries too. I think that's a huge part of confidence.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, we were just talking and doing an episode on assertiveness, and boundaries happens to be one of our most popular ones, actually. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it sounds like there is a lot of this, as what you're describing was shifting from needing everybody else's approval to giving your own approval, and acceptance piece that you said earlier.
I love how you phrased that. That's exactly what it was. And that's a huge step in process in trusting yourself, because I think that's something that, especially as women, like, sorry, men, but I feel like especially as women, we really struggle with trusting our intuition and trusting our bodies and ourselves, because we've got a lot of I call them the shoulds that
Yes.
happen. Yeah, you're both,
Yes.
yes, the shoulds. Yeah, and picking those up along the way in life and having those dictate what you should be doing or how you should be living versus how you really want to.
Yes.
Oh,
I think we're going to say the same thing.
Wait. Were you going to ask her about what she learned about rules growing up?
No.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I was going to bring it back to the beginning.
Yes. Yeah.
Stereotypical therapist move. But can I ask, did you get a sense that there was a lot of rule and order growing up in your family, like your parents really valuing that?
Girl, absolutely. Yes, I grew up in a really conservative Christian family. At least my mom was devout, super involved in the church, Christian. My dad not so much, but my mom really was. And so there was rules about everything. I mean, rules about how you could dress, how close you could be to a boy, how you spent your time, like rules around rest, rules around work, rules around money, rules around modesty and intimacy. I mean, just there were rules around everything. You should do this, you shouldn't do that. You can't do this, you have to do this. And that really dictated a lot of my childhood and growing up experience. And it continued even after my mom passed away. I went to a Christian college and there were rules around how swearing, like if you were caught swearing, you got in trouble in college.
Wow.
That does seem definitely extreme, right? Like we can acknowledge, like you probably come to this in your own sort of, reconciling journey that like, yeah, rules can be helpful to an extent. And then maybe it's about being able to figure out when the rigidity impacts and like the extreme, right? Like, yeah, because as an adult, okay, if you say shit, like, I mean, does that take away from your character? No, right?
True story. So this is hilarious. A friend of mine and she confessed to me one day that she was a swearer, and I was an RA, and we were like, well, I was like, I like to swear too. She's like, I wish there was a place we could go and just swear, and I was like, yes. So we went down to the basement in the dorm and where the laundry machines were, and we'd sit on top of the washer and dryer, and we just like swear. That's just like what we would do. And we would pray that another RA wouldn't walk in and give us minutes for swearing.
Oh, wow.
You really had to get creative in that environment. But yeah, no, I mean, I tell my clients coming in, like sometimes they're careful about, and I sometimes have to model to them and by like letting, cussing and saying, but there is like, I think very much therapeutic value in owning your experience. And so, I mean, anyways, I'm all for it, but
Yes.
I sidetrack. But yeah, you were saying like there's a lot of rules that defined growing up and impacted you even afterwards, and you noticed how that affected your mindset and how you showed up in the world.
Yeah, it really did. And it wasn't until the therapist that I started working with when I was 24 is when I started, and he was the first person to actually point out the shoulds to me. I had no idea that they even existed when he said it. And actually, I have a prop. Can I use a prop?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Okay. Well, if you can do your best, or we'll help too. Like, we'll describe it for those that are just listening.
That's true.
Yeah. No, you're fine, but we love visuals.
Okay, so the therapist that I worked with, this was 10 years ago, he had me list out all of my shoulds that I had that popped up throughout the day. And we were really expansive with it, everything from food to faith to friends to family, anything like that. If I had a should thought, I had to write it down. And I was like, okay, this is not a thing for me. You're crazy. I don't know what I'm paying you for, but I'll do it. And I came back a week later with 7 pages typed.
Oh,
Which-
wow.
Is
I
that
know,
another rule
like-
that everything has to be order and imperfect?
Yeah, it was crazy. And I think when you take it that broad, then, you do, as you begin to become more aware of them, you do realize. So he had me write them on a shirt. So
Oh, wow.
one of the fears that I had was that I would become overweight and get sick like my mom. And so he had me find the largest shirt I could find and to write all my shoulds on it, and then to host a dinner party with my best friends and have them come over, and I would wear my shirt. And
Wow.
everybody could read my should shirt. and
My
see
should
what
shirt.
it was that I was telling myself about all of the things that I mentioned. And it was one of the most incredible moments of my life. My friends came over and they read my shirt and we had a meal together and they got to ask questions. They're like, "So tell us about, this particular should, or like, what's this should all about?" And they got to speak truth into my life about it. And it was so healing and it was so great to just be seen in such a unique way. It was amazing.
Absolutely. Talk about vulnerability. Like,
Yes.
wow, and confidence. Like, that is definitely captivating the confidence and
Yeah.
just owning it. And this is who I am.
Wow. I'm guessing you had did a fair amount of therapy to work up to that point before you did that? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I
And
was
I was
like,
well supported by
okay.
my husband's actually a therapist as well.
Oh, no way. Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt very supported in that
Yeah.
process. And I only did that with my dearest
Mm-hmm.
friends who
People
I
you
trusted
trusted.
implicitly.
Yeah.
And it was such a great experience for me. So,
Absolutely. Will you read some of your shoulds, some of your favorite ones?
yes, can I?
Yes.
Okay, I'm real excited about this. So, oh gosh. Let's see. So the bigger ones on the shirt are the ones that popped up the most often.
Okay. Okay.
Very
So, like,
intentional.
I
Yeah.
should want to go to church.
Mm.
Um, I should work out more.
Mm-hmm.
I should work harder.
Hmm.
I should not be obsessive about food.
Mm.
I shouldn't have eaten that.
Oh,
That,
yes. Mm-hmm.
yeah, shouldn't have eaten so much. I should know.
Mm.
I should pray more. I should stop comparing, stop spending money, just all of them. Stop being so busy.
Some
They're
of
all on here.
it's interesting to me, Kim, like some of those are like really like kind of, I'm using quotations, but good things, right? Like I should not be obsessive about food. I should not compare myself. So it speaks to like you wanting to grow, but in a non-compassionate way towards yourself, right? So
Exactly.
yeah,
Coming at it, yeah, from that place of almost like a self-loathing
yeah,
rather than a
judgment,
self-loving, which has been
right?
a huge shift for me personally, but also a shift that I help my clients see a lot too, is that when you try to do any change from a place of self-loathing or just that place where you just aren't accepting, then you won't be able to make the changes that you want to. It has to come from a place where you are beginning to accept yourself and to move into a self appreciation too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's ironic. I just posted on my business Instagram about this, about the change paradox. Is what you're describing is that in order for there to be true change, there has to be acceptance of self as of right now. Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
so much so.
And my clients, when I bring that up with them, I don't know, JC, if you experience this too, they're like, what? How is that
Yeah,
possible?
it's like mind blowing.
Yeah.
And then whenever they get it, their whole life changes, but it
Yeah.
takes a long time for it to like sink in and make sense.
Yeah. And I mean, oftentimes extreme viewpoints come in the way. So it's, like the shoulds, you can want to grow, you can want, but right. It's a matter of how you approach it.
Mhm. Exactly.
Okay, so you have your shirt. So this like bright green shirt with Sharpie marker on it. Like you share it with your friends. Like what else do you do to like move through the shoulds? Like what is that? What did that look like for you?
Yeah. So what it was finding the truth. So a lot of the shoulds that I believed were lies and they weren't serving me at all. So what was the truth? So I had to write out the truth for each one, which oftentimes looked like kind of the opposite of whatever the should was. And really looking at what I was giving my power away to, especially in the realm of food. That was something I struggled with for many, many years since I was about 6.
Wow.
That's when my struggle with food began, and up until I would say probably about age 27. is when I finally got to that place where it didn't have the power anymore. And I moved into a healthier relationship with it and finding how to take that power back through the truth. So one of the things that I used to say was that I can't have the donuts. I can't eat donuts because I want all the donuts. I can't just have just one. I need them all. And the truth is, I can eat as many donuts as I want to. I can have the whole box. I can go to Krispy Kreme in the drive-thru incognito and get as many donuts as I want to and then eat them all. But is that going to get me where I want to go? Is that going to produce the result that I'm looking for? Probably not. And then working with that to find my way to that place of balance where the donut doesn't hold the power. And if I want to eat one, I can, and I can do so mindfully, and I can do so in a way that I feel really good about. And there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no should.
I can have the donut.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple. Like,
Yeah.
versus I can't have the donut.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can. Giving yourself permission.
Yeah, and I just want to add on too, because I work a lot with clients that have disordered eating, and there is that fear of like in any sort of change, like swinging to the opposite pendulum. And I just want to speak to the scientific principle, which I think can help some people work through that fear. Is that okay, if you do overeat and say like you do have that box, eventually there's going to be a time, if the technical term is habituation. Like you are going to get sick of those donuts and you're not going to need them anymore. Right? Then you are going to be able to approach them in a more balanced way and have a donut if you want to, and have a, acai bowl if you want to. Like that's scientifically proven.
Yeah, that was something that I experienced as well, especially studying movements like intuitive eating and mindful eating, is that, a lot of times we think, oh, well, if I could eat whatever I wanted, I'd eat junk all the time. Like I would just live on French fries. Like that would be my whole diet. But we know scientifically, like you said, and even, social media example, Supersize Me. After having McDonald's for so many days, he was starting to crave vegetables and just give me raw broccoli. Like I'll just eat it right now. And your body will adjust and it will crave what it needs if you can just learn to listen to it.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so developing that intuition, like both in terms of trusting your body and trusting yourself, like in the scheme of life, like how does that, I don't know, can you make such an abstract concept like a little bit more concrete? Like how does that show up in your life on a daily basis, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's about mindfulness. I mean, everything is, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like being really in tune with your body and what it needs, and learning to clear out the shoulds, to clear out the self-sabotaging behavior, oftentimes with the support of a therapist or a coach. I think that that's critical. I think trying to do it on your own is extremely difficult, extremely, because you don't have the objective person that's helping you raise your consciousness and raise your awareness. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So another follow-up question to that, like in terms of being in tune with yourself, like so often we talk about like setting aside time, and, being quiet with yourself as a mom, as a wife, right? As a business owner, entrepreneur, like, do you have quiet time for yourself, and what does that look like?
Oh, I do. I do. It's amazing. So every morning I wake up 6 o'clock. That's my start time. And I get myself my little cup of coffee, and I do a really specific morning ritual. And if I have time, I'll do some yoga and I'll do some meditation. But honestly, so much of it is just this practice of appreciation and of clearing out whatever I'm feeling anxious about for the day, and also reaffirming how I'm being provided for by the universe, my friends, my family, myself, observations that I see about myself, and just being really kind and practicing compassion. I think that has been incredible.
Yeah, such a powerful practice. Yeah. So we've talked a little bit about how like this practice has looked in your life, how do you work with your clients? Like, what does that process look like with clients?
Oh, so this is something that is super fun. So recently I've been really getting back to my kind of three pillars of confidence, which is personal style, nutrition, and movement. And I work with clients very specifically in those three areas. We start with addressing their closet, and I do a closet clean out with them so that we can figure out what clothes work to bring the confidence on temporarily so that we can do the work on the inside as well. Because there's so much, like if you put on like a really nice shirt or you feel really like cute in your outfit, like that confidence builds, and it really helps bring that support in that women need as they're working on building that internal confidence and that self-trust. So we start there, and then I do a styling session with them. And that is so much fun, getting to see them light up over looking beautiful and feeling confident in their current body. We haven't changed anything about the body. It's all what's already there and working for you, and just enhancing their natural beauty and shape.
Oh,
And
I
then
love that. Can I just insert a little tidbit? I think that's such a beautiful way of practicing body kindness. Of like, you deserve to put on good clothes that fit, that are stylish, no matter what your body looks like. And I just want to say I love that. So I'm so glad that you're doing that.
yeah, isn't it amazing though? I mean, it does. It changes everything. I've seen such a transformation. I do before and after pictures for all my styling sessions, and the change that happens in an hour and a half is incredible. It gets me a little choked up because it's so fun, especially seeing my mom hide her body for so long and myself hiding my body for so long, to be able to flip the script on that and to help women find that confidence so they can be in the pictures that they want to be in, so they can show up the way that they want to, especially if they, have a business that they're running or a job that they have, like showing up in a different way is so important. And so after we do the personal styling session, then we work on nutrition. And that takes as long as it takes, because it can be very convoluted, and it can be a lot of mindset, but it can also be a lot of the practical filling in gaps so that they feel supported and energized with their food. And then we finally get to work on movement, which is kind of changing from an exercise mindset to a movement mindset.
I love
and
that.
looking at looking at movement in a different way, seeing it as something that's actually fun, that you can be healthy and get fit your way, on your terms, and in your time. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to do workouts. Like, you don't have to do something that you hate. Like, that's something you should do. That doesn't mean that that's what you have to do.
Yes. Yeah. We've done these like hip hop classes or made like hip hop videos, and they are so fun. It's such a cardio workout.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it. And you have friends and you look silly and stupid. And
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. And our spin class that incorporates some dance movement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did it this morning. But really,
so cool.
yeah, no, because it creates, not only that enjoyment, right, versus being punishment, but then all the things that you're saying, and sounds like that you're working with your clients, helps build sustained patterns of change
Exactly.
versus like being a quick fix.
yeah, or having like a goal mindset, but more sustainable. Yeah. And it seems like a snowball effect. Like, feeling confident in your clothes seems so like surface level, right? But if you're doing that, then you're going to take another step to like feel good in your body, and then another step.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like opposite of what you would think you should do, because you should, right, lose weight, or you should get healthy first before you buy new clothes. And that's where everybody starts. But really, it's the opposite. Start to appreciate the body that you have right now and move into that acceptance and appreciation so that you can make changes like nutrition changes and movement changes from a place of self-acceptance. And that attitude, that mindset, that space is where the change happens, not before then. And so clothes come and go. Like you can buy some more clothes, but why are you missing out on this opportunity to show up how you want in the body that you have? Like what experiences are you missing out on because you're waiting for the right body?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Kim, I have to say, sometimes my heart becomes really heavy with the clients that I work with and how limiting they are because, they don't feel deserving of being seen in public at times, like, missing out on experiences with family or concerts or, taking a risk to, I don't know, do a class that they might not be good at. Right.
Mm.
And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But okay, yes, the idea that if we wait until we're perfect, then, this idea that we're not deserving until we, are a certain way, that just breaks my heart.
When I know for me, like that was pivotal, and like also for some of my clients of like whenever I finally was able to like love and accept myself, then I wanted to do things that were good for me, that like felt
Yep.
good for me. So like that's the backwards end of it, is like, or the reason why to do that, right? Like it feels good. Like I want to eat things that feel good in my body. I want to work out because it feels good to my body. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so much to that. I think so many times we get fixated on, well, I just need to lose X number of pounds and then I'll be happy. But the more conversations I've had over the last decade and my own personal experience with this is that that is simply not true. If you are not happy currently in the body that you have, you will not be happy X number of pounds from now. We give weight loss and change it, even if you don't want to lose weight, but you want to tone up or you want to change your physical body. We put so much power on that. And we say that that's the key to the happiness when it's not at all. That nobody really talks about what happens after you lose the weight or what happens after you change your body and that struggle to maintain. And it's not what people think it is at all.
Yeah. Well, and I think so many people do realize that whenever they do get to that like goal, like whether it be buying a house or whatever it is, and then they realize like, oh, I'm still not happy. I call it the grass is greener syndrome. So like being
Yes.
able to acknowledge like, oh, there's that grass is greener syndrome again. And like I need to step back into the present moment and like, where's my joy here?
Yes.
Yeah. And I would say too, and maybe in some cases or most cases, there still is this level of outsourcing your approval, right? So
Mm.
whether, okay, finally, yes, I've, lost the weight, but then, I haven't, gotten the job that's going to bring in that notoriety or made the money or, like gotten this much attention, right? And it's so externally focused. And so that practice of appreciation must carry through, right? And I'm sure yet that you do that for yourself still. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all the time. I
Yeah.
have a gratitude journal
Yeah.
that, helps me to be appreciative of the things that I've done and what the universe has provided, but also like, even for myself and how far I've come and what I've learned and what, makes me me and being able to practice, mantras and affirmations that feel really empowering and that do reinforce that acceptance. It's so important to have those practices, I think.
Can you go a little more in depth into those practices that you do or that you help your clients find to like really get into that self approval, that self compassion, that place of honoring self?
Yeah. So a lot of times it starts at looking, of course, back at childhood and what was said about you that still sticks in your mind. Like I had an aunt when I was 12 make a comment about the spider veins on my legs because I was wearing shorts. And to this day, pretty much when I put on shorts, I'm like, okay, there they are. And I wear shorts anyways. But for a lot of women, like those comments stick and they stop. And so, how can we find truth that really feels supportive and resonates with you and let go of some of these beliefs about yourself that you've held on to so that you can start to open your mind to the good things about yourself, not just about your body, but about what makes you amazing, like what your almost your essence, getting down to that, because it's easy to say, well, I do this and I'm a good mom, or I'm a good wife, or I'm a good friend, or I do this well. But it's like, those are things you do, but what about you? What about your heart? And we also look at things like the Enneagram. I'm a big fan of the Enneagram. We look at Myers-Briggs, birth order, and get an idea of like, what's your personality? Like, what makes you sparkle? What makes you magnetic? And to really help women open their eyes to that and to see possibilities of what they already are. They don't even have to do anything to become it. They already are enough, and they're already so sparkly. They just let other shoulds and stories just dull their shine.
Yeah. Seems like starting from a place of like exploration, like what is my doubts and insecurities and where did that come from? And then, yeah, you're so inspiring. Like, I want to hear you speak to me in the morning of like, yeah, don't dull your shine, JC. Like, step into your power. You're awesome already the way that you are. Yeah, I can see like you helping people develop like certain mantras or scripts to talk to themselves. Is that something that I feel like I just want to record your voice and listen to it.
That's a really big part. A lot of women have it, at least in my community. I speak a lot of women, and I should specify my community. They don't use mantras or affirmations because they don't believe it.
Yeah.
And so they feel that friction of, okay, well, Kim's telling me that this is true, but I don't really believe it. And so we talk a lot about you create your own reality, and the things that you think about yourself become true for you. So if you believe that you're lazy, if you believe that you're a bad mom, or that you are overweight, or that you're selfish, like whatever it is that clouds that radiance, you're going to believe it, and treat yourself that way and act that way. You're going to eat that way. You're going to move that way. Like, it affects everything. But when you become more aware of, again, what keeps the light off and keeps you in the dark, then you can start to shift and to turn the light on and to say, okay, like one thing that I've been saying a lot lately is for women that say, what's wrong with me that I can't look like these other people I see, or I can't have this life that I want, or I can't do these things that I want to do. What's wrong with me? And the mantra that we start with is, there's nothing wrong with you. You get to look in the mirror everywhere you go, whether it's your rear view mirror, your bathroom mirror, like your mirror at work, wherever it is. Remind yourself, and say it verbally too, there is nothing wrong with me. And the more that you start to really address that base of shame, then you can start to incorporate other ones, like, okay, so if there's nothing wrong with me, what else is true? Oh, I am sparkly. I am magnetic. Money does flow easily to me. I make friends wherever I go. Like, starting to incorporate more beliefs and bringing more light where it was previously so dark.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like you speak to this common concept of fake it till you make it, which there is some truth to it, because then there also is that confirmation bias. So if I'm looking for the good, I'll be able to see the good versus being stuck in the negative, right? So it's not always so woo-woo, right? There's some researched like sort of reasons why you suggest what you're doing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and even the energy that comes from speaking something that's contradictory to what you've always believed, your brain processes it differently. There's a different neural pathway when you've been saying the same thing and then you start saying something different. And I just love seeing that shift that happens when they actually start to believe it, and you can see it, and it's like, yes, go you're doing it, you're believing, and you're accepting, and you're moving into that appreciation, which is so important for having a happy life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it seems like willingness to take small actions, right? Which we've talked before, but like confidence begets confidence, right? So starting small and then like being able to be appreciative of the things that you are doing versus where you're not. And that just builds and creates that sustained change. So Awesome
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
so good. I'm curious, Kim, do you have any resources for our listeners that would be
I
helpful?
sure do. Oh,
Yeah,
I totally just cut you off too. I got so excited. Do you see that? I just like jumped the gun.
we love it.
Sorry.
What are they? Yeah.
So I have two free guides on my website.
Mm.
One is called Stop Shooting on Yourself. And
Yes.
that's a guide that I put together with my process of being brave. And so, brave is an acronym for the steps that you can walk through to start to become more aware of the shoulds and to clear those out. The other one is Becoming Captivatingly Confident. And that is more about the mindset rather than some of the practical steps, but just like what the process to becoming confident looks like, moving from that place of self-loathing or discouragement into self-accepting and then or self accepting and appreciating, and then moving into a place of valuing and investing, and then finally being able to walk in this place of growth. And how I kind of have this like mountain illustration of how the whole process works. So it's like an overview and then some really practical steps. So both of those
Okay.
are available on my website too.
What is your website?
Captivatinglyconfident.com.
Okay. And
So
how?
catchy.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. How
It's
else
a
can
mouthful.
people find you?
Yeah, so my website is a great place. I also host the Captivatingly Confident podcast, which is everywhere you listen to podcasts. I love to be on Instagram, so my handle is at kim.ludeman. And I'm also on Facebook. I have a really great Facebook group, the Captivatingly Confident Community. Like I said, it's a mouthful. Try spelling it. You might have to use autocorrect. But
I definitely will.
I love alliteration, and
Oh
so
my gosh, yeah.
it just goes.
Yes.
So that's the Facebook group. I love being interactive in there, and it's a really safe place to be with like-minded women. Sorry guys, it's just for ladies, but other women who are on this journey to confidence. It's a supportive group, and it's just full of amazing people.
Awesome.
so
That's
awesome.
yeah, so many great resources.
Yeah.
We'll put that all in our show notes for all of our listeners. And yeah, we are so grateful to have had you on today to hear about confidence and what that looks like for you, shoulds, how you work with your clients. So thank you for sharing your story and
Yeah.
helping
And
others.
yeah, thank you for sharing your energy and not, dulling it, and that, you're accepting and walking the walk. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Wow, thanks you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me come and talk your ear off.
Yes,
No,
that's
we
what
love
this is
learn.
for.
Yeah, this is secretly selfish too because we get
This
to
is our
learn
therapy.
and meet other people with incredible stories and hear the work that they're doing because right, like we all have our place in the world. So thanks for doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
We will talk to you soon. Bye, Kim.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for listening to the Everyday Therapy Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes and share with your friends. It really helps us reach more people.
We might only record once a week, but we're with you every day.